So a couple of weeks ago we had the chance to meet with the folks over at RS Regulate. And if you don't know about RS Regulate, they're making optic mounts for AK rifles. Right now they've got them out for both 30mm aim points such as the Comp M series, M2, ML2, M3, ML3, etc. And they've also got them out for the Aimpoint T1 H1 micros. And also the same mount for the micros will fit the Primary Arms micro red dot. We were very impressed with these mounts right off the bat. The construction and fit and finish of them is just absolutely phenomenal. This one is the 30mm one. This is their standard AKM mount. It fits on again any AK rifle with a standard side mount. One of the unique things about their mounts is you'll notice up top right here this dovetail portion and two bolts. This allows you to put the mount on your gun and then do gross adjustments left and right to center the optic over the top of the gun so that it's not offset to the left or right or whatever. You can do gross windage adjustments with that, get the optic centered real good, and then fine-tune your windage using the windage on the optic itself. Fairly unique compared to most of the mounts on the market out there right now. The mounts are rock solid. You don't have to worry about that dovetail moving once you lock it down. It's going to stay there. But then you also have the option, there's two divots drilled right there where you can go ahead and drill through and pin it in place. So if you've got a gun that you know you're going to leave it on and not be using it on anything else, and you want to permanently set that, you can do so. The locking system on them is similar to most of the Russian styles. There are a few differences. One little cool thing that we liked was there's a lock right there, so that when you lock this on the rail, it goes in that notch right there, and it can't come undone if it's accidentally snagged or hit or whatever. You actually have to pull it down ever so slightly to get it to clear the bottom part right there. Again, the construction on these is just really well done. The machine work very smooth, even, no machining marks, even finish, the whole 9 yards. And it's milled from aircraft aluminum and as light as I've ever felt in a mount. So there are a couple of benefits to this mount. One being the lightweight. It doesn't add much of anything to the gun at all. The optic's going to weigh more than the mount does. But secondly, this allows you to have your optic back over the receiver, and in this case directly over the mag well, so it shifts more of the weight and balance of the weapon back to the rear instead of out over the front. Now, having your optics out front is not a problem. I've ran them that way and like it. It's a good choice, good option. It works perfectly well. But after having played with this a little bit now, I really like having it back over the receiver for some applications, just because of the way it changes the balance and handling of the gun. One of the things that we like to do, and you'll see it in our gear, is sticking with the simplicity and functionality concepts of everything. Our gear, our weapons, our equipment, our training. There's a whole method to the madness, and we like to keep all that in the same context. And that said, it doesn't mean that you don't take advantage of certain things, upgrades, techniques, capabilities, equipment, etc. You just have to pick and choose what's going to be the most beneficial to you in keeping with those concepts. That's one area that these mounts really fit in good for us and our concepts. It allows us to run our rifles like our gear. We can keep it simple, no BS, to the point, but functional, and taking advantage of modern upgrades and techniques. We don't have to run the same, and in our case AK, but applies to any gun, don't have to run the same thing that was designed 20, 40, 50, 60 years ago. You can upgrade it and make it better. You just have to pick and choose what upgrades you put on it and make sure they're worthwhile and work for you. These mounts allow us to do just that. We can keep the overall gun fairly simple. Not a whole lot of changes to this one. This is a stock Arsenal SGL 31 545. But having this mount allows me to have my red dot, the T1 Micro in this case, when I want it, and remove it when I don't want it. Personally, for the most part, we've come kind of full circle from our military and AR days. We actually like running, oh my God, iron sights. They're simple. With practice and training, they work. You just have to learn how to use them just like anything. There's little chance of them breaking or going bad. They're always going to be there. They're not dependent on anything. They're rugged. They're solid. It just keeps the weapon as simple and snag-free as possible, which we think is important under a stressful situation. Same concepts in with our gear. We try to keep our gear as simple, low-profile, snag-free as possible. These mounts have a repeat zero. That means I can zero it on the gun, take it off, store it somewhere, and then at the time and choosing that I wish, put it back on the gun, and I've still maintained my zero and don't have to worry about it. For the average prepared citizen, this lets you have a lot of versatility, in our opinion, in how you run your weapon. If you needed to have your weapon on you for long periods of time, you're going to want to keep it as fairly lightweight as possible. Anybody that's walked very far for very long on foot, carrying a loaded rifle in their hands, can tell you they get pretty heavy pretty quick. That doesn't mean that you need to be carrying a slingshot because you just can't carry something heavier. If you got a problem carrying a full-size rifle, not saying anything, but maybe you should look into some more, physical fitness, that sort of thing. A grown man should be able to carry any of these type rifles with no problem. Just because you don't like it and just because it's not pleasant doesn't mean you can't do it. So that said, out of the way, I can take this off, stow it in a pouch on my gear, run my iron sights, and then if something happens I have to react, well, I know how to run my iron sights. If I get the opportunity and I see a need to, it takes 2 seconds to take this out of a pouch, slide it on, lock it down, and just like that, I've got a red dot sight on there now, and I can run it. When I'm done, don't want it, I can take it off, put it back in my gear. This also gives you the ability, hopefully, we'll see RS Regulate continue to improve on these and bring out new versions. It would be really cool to have a couple of different versions that would allow you to run something such as a full-size or compact ACOG or some other magnified optic. That way you could have one gun and in a fraction of a second go from having a CQB type optic to having 4-power magnification if you need to be a little bit more precise on that 200-yard shot or whatever. It just gives you a lot of versatility. But these mounts really just add to the concept of what we like. And we just wanted to give a shout out for RS Regulate. After looking at these, we knew we had to pick up a couple to try out on our own. So we got with them and got some. This is again the T1 micro version. This is the 30 millimeter version. We're going to be running these and seeing how we like them. So far, just from dry run drills, they've been phenomenal. Proof is in the pudding though. Got to get it to the range and put rounds through it. Really happy with them so far. So check them out. Give them a look see. As long as you've got a quality gun, you should be good to go. I know there are some concerns about issues with the receiver rail on some AKs not being parallel to the bore, and guys running out of adjustment in their optics and that sort of thing. That's out there, and yes, it happens, but I don't think it's quite as prevalent as what some believe it to be. Like I said, I'm sure it exists though. So I guess that's an area you just have to take your chances. But I think there's enough good stuff out there that you shouldn't have too much of a problem. I think RS Regulate's selling these pretty good right now, and I haven't seen. I've been looking around reading too many complaints or anything of guys having problems. So more of them that get out there. If there was going to be a problem, I think you'd start hearing about it on the various forums and stuff. So anyway, getting a little long-winded. Check these out. If you want to keep your rifle simple and functional, and the ability to have a good red dot on there that's solid and strong, but then you can take it off and keep the gun slick when you want to, check them out and get one. I'm fairly certain that you'll like it. Thanks, guys.